We started. And we are live on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. We are so live that it's like, whoa. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. I'm very happy to see you, like always.
Yeah.
Beautiful and smart and loyal and ethical and unbelievable person.
Oh, well, thank you. It takes one to know. So what can I say?
It's so good to see you. So what are we going to talk about today?
So I have a few things I want to talk to you about. I'm talking to you from the lens of The Artistic Edge, which is my book. And, I have a lot of people subscribe to me in terms of artists and educators. So I just want to get some information that will be helpful for them because I want to share this with them.
Tell us about the Artistic Edge.
Sorry?
Tell me a little bit about the Artistic Edge. What is it? Like, I don't know about it.
Sure. The Artistic Edge is a book, and the book basically talks about how children and anyone really learns transferable skills through the arts that help them be successful later in life. So whether it's the arts teaching creativity skills, teaching how to be flexible, adaptable, things like that. So it's just all about the leadership skills that kids learn through the arts and how it gives them a competitive advantage in the working world later in life.
And who wrote that book?
I did.
Okay, good. Very good. Excellent. And you've got like ton of experience. You've been working with children. You've been just a little bit more about you.
Yeah, I mean, I worked with kids for 20 years in lots
of amazing results.
Yes, whether it was running summer camps, teaching musical theater, in lots of different capacities. And I always found it fascinating, the connection between the arts and leadership and how there's so many leadership skills that get developed through the arts. So I just have always loved that topic. And I just think it's so important, especially now with everything that's going on with the coronavirus and quarantine, to talk about those types of things.
Amazing. So I know Lisa for a long time, and I know her result with groups and children in general, but I also know her with her own children or her own stepchildren. We have some echo. I think you need to reduce your volume a bit.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And no, still not.
No?
A little bit less. Okay, good. Is that okay?
Is that okay?
More or less.
Okay.
Manage. And I know the results, and I know the viewpoint, and it's quite fascinating to see someone that took the art and understood the value the art has and applied to different areas of life. And I saw her applying it to many areas. And it's really fascinating to see the concept. It's like genius. Very, very well done. Seriously.
Thank you.
How can I help today? What is the question for me?
Well, the first question I wanted to ask you about was, we've all been in quarantine and sort of locked down. I'm based in Toronto, Canada. I have people that follow me all over the world. And I just wanted to get your viewpoint on whether, closing everything off, especially the schools, because, all the kids have been studying at home and learning through online classes, just to get your viewpoint on whether this is helping or not helping.
It's helping the kids because they love not going to school, I'm sure.
Yes, for
sure. So let's take a look. The reason the government put the lockdown is because experts told them that they need to lock down.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So the government's like the prime minister doesn't know anything about pandemics. He went to an expert on the subject of pandemics, and that expert told him to do ABC, and they probably did it. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the only problem here is with what is an expert. What is an expert? Expert is not someone with out of town with a briefcase. That's not the actual definition of an expert. Yes, expert is someone that show result in a specific area. Not that he has certificates, not that he worked for many years in that. Is someone that shows result in a specific area. Does it make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I don't know about anyone alive that handled pandemics in the past. Yes, no one. No one, like, no, Corona is quite new. It's only a few months old. And no one actually handled a pandemic, something that affected worldwide at that level, which means that the first lie is that the experts are not expert.
Interesting.
Yes, the experts are not expert. Imagine that I have a degree in flying airplanes.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a degree. I've learned about flying F-15. I never been in an F-15. Never saw an F-15 because there was no F-15 yet. And one day someone bring me an F-15 and tell me fly it. You've got a certificate. You've got like you are a doctor for F-15.
Yeah.
Will I fly F-15?
Yeah.
No. Yes, because I never actually confronted the thing.
Yes.
And it applies to anything. And the problem is that, or the big lie is that the experts are not experts, but they behave like they're expert, like they're putting out the show that we are an expert. So when someone doesn't know, he's afraid. And when he is afraid, he will become blind. And when he is blind, he will make mistakes. But since he have to be right, he will make those mistakes again and again and again. So those experts gave an opinion, which was out of nothing.
Yeah.
And then because they had to be right, they continue the same mistake. So it's obvious, like for example, Israel said, well, we're going to open the business, the country for businesses in 5 days. Why in 5 days and not now? What's the difference in terms of the virus? Do the virus have like an expiration date? What is it? Why not now?
Yeah.
Because the experts need to be right. So they putting some kind of a facade that we know. And when we say in 5 days, most people think that there is some kind of a reason why 5 days and not 4 days. Mm-hmm. Like they say, for example, well, we will not allow a gathering of more than 50 people. It's like the virus start to work at 51 people, but 50 is not.
Yes.
It's nonsense, yes? So the point is, or the big lie in regards to the coronavirus is that the expert are not an expert. The king is naked.
Yeah.
And because of that, the mistake are in order of magnitude will be bigger because they will put an action, and in order to make themselves right, they will repeat the same action. Now, if you look at yourself, when you make a mistake, despite all that you say, once you start to make a mistake, you will make yourself right by doing that mistake over and over again, knowingly or unknowingly.
Yeah.
And those experts that are not expert are human, and they behave exactly the same way.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Corona. So the first thing that everyone needs to know is that the fact that someone said that he's an expert and that he has a certificate on flying F-15, although there was never an F-15 when he studied, the fact that he has a certificate do not mean that he can fly it. An expert pilot is someone that can fly an F-15, fight, take down enemy airplanes, and land successfully. Before that is not an expert.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people that never flown, never mind taking down enemies' airplanes, and never mind landing. What we do see that they created a lot of crashes. Before they took off, they already crashed on the runway because they don't know. And what happened is a big disaster over nothing. How do we know that it's over nothing? Because countries that didn't do the same, the whole quarantine, like Taiwan, like other countries, the number, they didn't all of a sudden become the worst country in the world. Yes,
Right.
it's not. So 100% the big lie of the coronavirus, more than all the other lies, and there are many, is the experts are not expert. That's the big wow. The experts.
Yeah, no, it's pretty amazing.
Experts. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing everyone have to understand and know. Okay.
So can I ask why are you an expert? Because I see you as an expert. I see you not just in terms of a coach and a mentor and someone who really brings amazing results with the people that you work with. And I've learned from you for over 7 years, and I have the tangible results in my life to say that I consider you an expert in so many different areas. And that's because I've implemented what you've taught, and I have the results. I have more money. I have a loving, husband and relationships that are powerful, and all those sort of tangible things, a nice house to live in, all those things that people want. I've been able to create all those things based on implementing what you teach. So maybe you can just share a little bit about your background, just so people who are watching this can know a little bit about who you are and maybe why I would consider you an expert.
I'm an expert because I bring result. Any area that I bring result, I'm an expert in, regardless of my credentials. The only credentials of a person is the result he brings. Only credentials. And the result have to be a result for himself first, his family, and everyone around him, all his clients and people around him, even if they are not his clients. So imagine that I'm an expert in relationships. I'm an expert in relationship. And I am divorced. My children don't want to talk to me, and then I have no friends. You understand? I'm not an expert, but although I have all the certificates from all the universities that have studied about relationship, I'm not. Yeah. So if I'm a psychologist, for example, and I have a certificate of a psychologist, but I don't bring result. I'm not. But if I'm a psychologist with or without the certificates, and I bring result, I'm an expert. So the only thing that tells you if someone knows something is, can you demonstrate results? Nothing else. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing business for many years, and I've been helping people for many years, and I bring results. And I bring results to such a degree that I guarantee my results. So if you don't get the result that I promise, you don't need to pay me, and I'm willing to pay you. Simple, because I wasted your time. So that's the basic idea. I bring result. Always, you know it personally, and every one of my customers know I bring result. Always, no fail, not 99% of the time, not 99.9, 100% of the time, I bring results. Why? An expert bring result 100% of the time. If you bring it 95% of the, let's say I bring results 75% of the time, yes? Mm-hmm. And I'm a pilot, which means I can take off, fly, but not land. That's 75% of the time. Exactly. So, and it applies to anything. It's really, that's how you should look at that. If I can bring result as a guitar player, it's not that I can play the verse but not the chorus. Like I can play the whole song perfectly. And if I make mistakes in between, I'm not an expert. Yes. So it's applied to anything, and it's an unreasonable kind of viewpoint, and it's not a viewpoint that allow you to bring excuses, but it's a true viewpoint. And only if you're really an expert, you can have that viewpoint. And otherwise, in advance, you will give to yourself if, then, but, when. No. If you can bring result, you bring result, end of story.
Mm-hmm. Wow, amazing. Can you talk a little bit about why having a positive viewpoint and helping others is so important to creating the results that you want, whether it's in your business, in your family life, in just your relationships, career, just why does it matter so much?
Okay, so you can think about the spirit as a nothingness that can bring something. Okay, the spirit is a nothingness, it's not physical, but it, by its ideas alone, can bring something. Okay, and how it brings something, you first put a plus there, you put something there, and only after you put something there, you can say that it's not there. Yes, you cannot lose a cigar that you didn't have. You first need to have it, and then, so you need to first have something in order to lose it. You need to love before you can hate. You need to have no pain before you can have a pain. You understand? Because you need to have pleasure before you have pain. You need to have something before you can have not that thing. Yes?
Yes.
So we can say that all the things that we want, all the things that people consider good are a plus, and all the things that people consider not good is the minus. Okay? The moment that you put a plus there, what you will create is good. But if you put a plus there, if you have positive thinking, what you do, unbeknown to you, you intensify the minus.
Oh, interesting.
So those people that says think positively, they actually have a terrible life, because otherwise they wouldn't want to think positively. Do you understand? Who wants to think positively? Someone that have a problem, yes? So why? Because when you put plus, this universe automatically put minus. Now, when something is an automatic, when the minus is an automatic, you don't have control over it. And so sooner or later, it will take you over. And then you will try to put more plus, and then it take you over, and then you will make the decision that it's all bad, and you will see only the minus. But now the minus is overwhelming you, and you don't do anything. So what you should do is not think positively or negatively. What you should do is actually create. Create means bring something out of nothing. And that's why the art is so important, because the art is actually, once you put something there, you communicate it out by the art. So the art is actually the most effective method of communication.
Yeah,
and that's why the art is so important, because it takes this admiration particle, this thing that is so complete and wonderful, which is your idea, and communicate it out, and you include more people in that plus and minus, and you have a beautiful result. So generally what I'm saying, that before you'll be able to win and lose with the same level of enthusiasm, you will only lose.
Amazing. And I like what you said about the artists, and just I wonder if you could touch on that a little bit more. Like, one of the things, especially during the virus, I've noticed is a lot of performers are doing benefit concerts, and there's a lot of concerts going on online from massive stars all over the world. There's that going on, and then just regular performers that are like standing on their balconies, and there's been amazing videos out of Italy and Israel and just all over of people just performing to like bring that joy to others. Can you talk about a little bit why that's so important?
Yes, because you see, you are as alive as you can communicate. I don't know if you notice that people that die don't communicate. I don't know if you try to talk to a dead person in the grave, usually they don't answer, yes?
Yeah.
On the other hand, children that are very alive communicate a lot. They have a lot to say, and they're moving and they're running and they communicate a lot, yes? So artists have a higher ability to communicate. So not only that they are more alive, but they bring more life to others. And when you sit and you do any kind of a performance to a lot of people, and you just communicate, you just put your message out, you just put it out, it become an art. It's not how well you sing and if you made the moment that you communicate and you put it out. And of course you need to be an expert, meaning you need to bring a result. And if you do that, if you communicate, if you are an artist, you will see, you will move hearts, you will melt barriers, you will make things that you will bring people to this thing that have the plus and minus in them, because an art is 100% communication, and 100% communication is not good communication or bad communication, is the whole thing together, the whole package. When there is no good and bad, there is no love and hate. In art, when it is an art, it hits you in such a way that it melts you, regardless if I'm a Jewish person that sing to a Palestinian or Palestinian that sing to a Jewish person. When the art is an art, it reaches your heart and it moves all the lies.
Is that why it's so important now that everyone is sort of locked down and they're maybe feeling a bit depressed and just, life is just not normal? And yeah.
Art melt lies. And all those feelings that people feel are actually, I know that it will be not so well received, but it's the truth. The feeling are not you. Do you understand? You feeling, it's not you. There's me and I am feeling. Yes, so the feeling is not me. The moment that the person thinks that the feeling is him, he will be a puppet. The first thing you need to know, the first most important thing in your life to be successful, the most important thing that you need to do in order to help people is to separate between you and your feeling. Two different things. Your feelings are just a manifestation of your level of irresponsibility. When you are fully responsible, you actually don't have a feeling, you create feeling. Mm-hmm. You understand? You don't have, you didn't give you love, you put love into things. Someone didn't give you joy, you put the joy into things. When someone give it to you, you feel something, yes, and you're an effect. When you put it into things, now the feeling is real. The feeling expand you. The feeling improve the communication. So the problem is, and the only question is, are you creating, are you putting the feeling into things, or are you taking the feeling from things? If you're taking the feeling from things, you're in effect. So, someone will go and say, well, I need that fix. And the fix can be drugs, and the fix can be alcohol, and the fix can be sex, and the fix can be anything, because he is not putting the feeling into things. He needs to take it from things. And at that point, you become a slave. Yeah. And an artist is an artist for as long as he put the feeling into things. Wow. The moment that we expect to get the feeling from things, he's not an artist anymore.
Yeah. So I guess it's important that all the artists that are out there and the artists that are listening right now, that they keep creating, and that they don't use the coronavirus and everything that's going on as a reason not to keep creating what they do.
Yeah, the coronavirus, in my opinion, is the best thing that happened to humanity. Why? To able people within humanity. Why? Because if you are able, you take it as a challenge, as a barrier that you need to overcome. So you are forced to invent new ways. So you can say that you have an emergency. An emergency is a moment of heightened willingness. And you are either take yourself and do something about it in an emergency, and then you go out of this emergency bigger, stronger, more able, and you created a wow effect. Or in emergency, you lay down and burn.
Yeah.
And if if you're listening right now and you take this emergency that's called coronavirus and say, good, wonderful, I know I can do something about it. Something can be done about it. And I'm going to put the joy into things. I'm going to invent myself. I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm going to expand. I'm going to do much more than what I've done, which I should have done for the last 50 years, and I didn't. I should have. And now I have a good excuse. So thank you very much to whoever came up with the coronavirus. Thank you for the bets. Thank you for the Chinese or the American, or I don't know who brought it in. Thank you very much for bringing it in to us, because right now I have an excuse to generate much more than what I was doing up to now, because really up to now, everyone was doing the same thing over and over again. And, they didn't even expect a different result. Just, they just did the same thing every day, waking up in the morning, going to work, hoping for the best, and nothing happened. So I will complain, Coronavirus, it's an emergency. The able people now can use it as a catalyzer to push you forward, something that can push you, that can take you on. And that's what you need to do. If you're listening to this thing, if you're listening to me right now, what you need to do is to know you put the emotion into things. You never take the emotion from things. You put the joy into things. Never expect things to give you joy, because if you expect things to give you joy, you are dead wood. You're nothing. If you want to be something, you are as alive as you can put things into emotion into things. You are as dead as you expect things to do to you. You can say that the difference between a person and a stone is a stone expect someone to admire it. Yes, so it gets the joy from the admiration from other, and a person admire others, and that's how you get the joy, because he make them bigger. So when you make someone else bigger and it makes you feel good because you helped, you are alive. When you want someone else to help you, you are dead. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting help, but if this is your whole concept of life, I need someone to give me the feeling, I need to get joy from someone else, you are dead. You need to make this decision to start to live. And the beautiful thing is, you can do it at any given moment. You can just decide something can be done about it and start.
Yeah, amazing. I know one thing that artists sometimes struggle with is income, and just figuring out. I know one of the things you've talked about, and maybe you can explain it in the context of explaining to artists who maybe don't know, is the importance of multiple streams of income. And if you think about it logically, if you look at very wealthy people, they all have multiple means of earning money. And I know sometimes artists tend to feel that, well, I only want to do my thing, and if I'm not making money from being a singer or being an actor or a musician, then like they really just want to focus on what they're good at, and they sometimes ignore all the other aspects of things. Maybe you can touch on that a little bit.
Okay, basic law about income. Okay, basic law about income. You will make as much money as you think that you're worth.
Wow.
100%. Before you close yourself on your self-worth, before you will know that you have some, and what do you worth? What do you worth? How much joy you can put into things, how much value you give to things, not how much value you can get from things, not how much they will pay me, but how much I will give them that they will die to pay me more. Mm. When I deliver seminars, when I deliver webinars, most of the time people tell me you charge too little. Why? Because I give so much value that they want to pay me. I don't need to sell them. I need to sell myself.
Yeah.
The only person you need to close is you. If you don't have income, any area you're not doing well at, you did not report to yourself that you are good. That's all. That's the basic problem with artists, because artists think more than other people that success is come by finding what's wrong. Others think that in order to be successful, you need to find what's wrong, fix it. And after 10, 15 years of trying to find what's wrong, you decide it's wrong. But the truth is that the only way to be successful is to know the definition of the word success, which is success is the sum of all validated improvement. You don't fix by finding what's wrong, you fix by finding what's right. The wrong goes away. You can think about that as you are the source, you are a source of light, okay? And now you can put the light to create shadows, or you can put the light to light the road for other people.
Wow.
Do you understand? If you put the light behind other people, you create shadows. Yes? So you put the light behind other people, which means you want to light yourself, yes? If you put your light forward, what you do, you show the road for other people. There's no shadows for you.
Wow.
And this is really the secret of life. If you are using your light to shine to other people, which means you put joy into them, you make them happy, you make them see that something can be done about it. And you never expect to get joy from people, from things. You never expect that. It is an insult for you. If you can do that, you will see that you will have so much money that even Jewish people will come to you and say, hey, how do you do that? Then you know you're making a lot of money.
Yeah. Amazing. I don't know how much more time we have. I have other questions,
but I think we are done with in terms of time. But we can talk again.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to chat with you about some other topics for sure. If people want to learn more about what you're doing and just connect with you, how can they reach out to you to find out more?
Look for the direction of Jerusalem and start to pray. Actually, what you need to do is I'm doing free webinars. Every time I'm on a different series of free webinars. And right now I'm doing something that's called The Path to You, the lost art of the Yoga Sutras. The Yoga Sutras was a series of axioms or rules that actually gave people the blueprint of life, how to actually release the spirit from the draconian claws of the physical universe. So how do you, that was the purpose of the Yoga Sutras. Over the years, like everything else, they got deteriorated and deteriorated and deteriorated to a point where you cannot understand them. If you read them, it's plain English. Someone translate them from Sanskrit, and it's plain English, but there's no way that you will understand if you actually look and say, what does it mean? What I've done is I developed a method that any person can recreate them.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, recreate them. And once you start to recreate them, once you understand the basic principle, the basic laws, life changes. And we've done, I think, 2 lessons so far. And the results that you've seen on the group are just amazing. People changes their life. People just manifest money. People, things happen to them. Relationships that were broken get fixed. Money comes in. Problems that they thought that they cannot solve get resolved. And basically, life become beautiful, and you learn how to put the joy into things rather than expect the joy to come to you. And it's quite amazing.
So people can register for free, yes?
They can register for free. It's totally free, but it's not easy. If you want to come in and to sit at your computer and to listen to me and do nothing, you're in the wrong place. Don't come. But if you're willing to come and participate, because it's a two-way. Like I'm talking to everyone. Everyone is on the chat, and you ask, and I ask questions, and you give me answers, and you ask questions, and it's really interactive. So you've got 200 people on the call, and it's interactive. Who get results? Those people that actually willing to do the work. So they're not expecting me to give them the joy, but they're putting the joy into the webinar. They're putting the thing in. If you're just wanting to sit there and smoke cigar or maybe have a drink while you're listening to me, beautiful, you can. I mean, I will not tell you not, but you're wasting your time. I suggest you go and watch Netflix. It will be more productive for you. But if you're willing to work, if you're willing to come, and if you know that this thing that you're going to hear is not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear, it's not going to make you feel good, but it's going to make you effective. It's not something that's easy to hear, but it's easy to implement. If you're willing to experience this kind or this style of viewpoint, you are very welcome. All you have to do is to go to www.meirezra.com/yoga and register, and you'll see your life will change. And maybe you should give the URL in your accent. It probably sounds more.
Yes, meirezra.com/yoga. So everybody go there, check it out. And it's true, just before we say goodbye, it's true that, what you teach is different. It's not what we want to hear, but it's what we need to hear to actually get the results. And that is 100%. And I've learned from you for 7 years, and I can attest that that's true. A lot of the things, that I've had to work through to get to where I am now were not always easy things to sort of deal with, but it was just pushing through it and actually just willing to handle it and go through whatever you need to go through. The results come at the end, and that's the exciting part. And no matter how hard it is or feels at the time, it's worth it. So I definitely encourage everyone to check it out. Go to a free webinar. Just, listen. And Meir, thank you so much. I hope we get to do this again. I'd love to chat with you more.
Will.
And
thank you very much.
Yeah, have a great day. Thank you so much.
Send regards to your mom and your beautiful husband and children.
Thank you. I will.
And everyone. And thank you everyone for joining and listening. And please share. Please start watch parties. Get other people to see it. And follow me on Instagram, Meir Ezra Official. And if you have any question, whatever the question is, ask me on Instagram on a private message, and I always answer, and I always give you answer. You will not like my answer, but if you will do it, it will be effective and it will work. That's all. Thank you. And thank you, Smart and thank you, Gali, and thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.